just off a sloping stretch of Gaskins Road.
It's definitely a memorable spot.
Manicured lawns grace tidy homes along Weston Lane. 2 decades ago, this tranquil neighborhood sprouted up on a sprawling farm in vast woods. Today, few drivers passing by may know that this area
The deaths were just horrific.
was the scene of one of the most grisly crimes in Henrico's storied history.
She was very vivacious, tons of energy.
In 1984, Donna Hall, an 18-year-old graduate of Freeman High School, was dating 21-year-old Michael Margaret,
He was just nuts about her.
a graduate of Tucker High School. Friends say both are madly in love.
From the moment they met, done. They were crazy about each other.
On the steamy night of Friday, August 17th, the couple of 3 years drive off in Mike's Jeep for 2 days of camping.
I didn't see anything really unusual with what led up to that weekend.
Donna and Mike stop in a secluded spot crisscrossed with trails popular with teens. It would be a deadly decision. Monday morning, the couple fails to return home.
I wasn't really worried.
Mike's best friend, Dennis Urich.
I remember people were speculating that they may have run off and gotten married.
They had been dating for quite a while, for a couple years.
But with his older brother's disappearance, Scott Margaret grows concerned.
For him not to call or not to show up for work was highly unusual.
Missing person reports are filed.
It was very nerve-wracking to not know what was going on.
We're now going to pan up to the Jeep.
4 days after they were last seen, a dog walker stumbles upon Mike's abandoned Jeep.
This is a door. Was found open.
Curiosity turns to horror when the man finds 2 bodies nearby.
They told us that they had found them.
Donna and Mike, victims of an unspeakable crime, stabbed repeatedly, their throats slashed.
There appears to be another wound.
Homicide investigators and forensics swarm the area.
The search for clues continues in an apparent double murder in Henrico County.
Mike had put up a fight.
Cold case detective Thomas Holsinger says days of torrential rains wash away vital evidence.
It's just awful.
Police interview friends and develop leads, but the trail soon grows cold.
You just feel like this is a very bad nightmare.
The killings rock the relative quiet of the West End.
Nothing like this, had happened. It was unheard of. Absolutely unheard of.
Investigators say the couple was carrying a large sum of money to possibly buy drugs. The cash never found.
At this time, robbery has been ruled out as a motive in the slayings because none of the victims' valuables were taken.
I do think that drugs were involved, but I do think that the people knew each other.
Investigators suggest the killings may also be a crime of passion or revenge. Tracy Reed Leverty, Donna's best friend, says her companions grow suspicious of strangers and each other.
It had to be somebody that knew them. I don't know how that could be a random act of violence. I really don't.
Hours turn to days, days become weeks, weeks melt into months.
It's anger, it's frustration, it's shock.
30 years on, the couple's killer remains on the loose. For Detective Holsinger, this nagging cold case is personal.
And so it was a huge deal, continues to be a huge deal, and probably Henrico's biggest unsolved case.
The Henrico native graduated from Tucker High with Mike.
There's a brown substance on a blue suitcase.
We do in this scene have a third blood type that's there, that's not the victim's.
DNA testing, virtually non-existent in 1984, may indeed crack the case.
This might be our last shot at solving this crime after 30 years.
For Scott Margaret, the waiting and not knowing who killed his beloved brother has been heart-wrenching.
You want that knock on the door, but here it is 30-some years later and still no knock.
Donna's best friend Tracy questions how someone could carry the weight of snuffing out 2 young lives for so long.
Even if it's on your deathbed, come forward. Clean it up, clear it up for everyone who's been left behind.
In the years following the murders, Donna's devastated mother moved away, taking her only child's remains with her to West Virginia, not knowing who took her life. As for Mike Margaret, He was buried at West Hampton Memorial Park on Patterson Avenue in a simple grave across the street from where his life ended so long ago.
It brings a lot of anger, a lot of anguish.
His younger brother Scott will not rest easy till the case is solved.
30 plus years doesn't mean that we will just crawl into our holes and go away. We'll still keep working at it. We'll still keep fighting to find out who did this.